Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Blair and today's video is a trying out new makeup video. I ordered a ton of new stuff from Sephora and I thought I would just sit down and do a first impressions with you. I have some Rare Beauty, I have Ilia and the Makeup by Mario stuff, or some of his stuff as well. So if you're interested in my thoughts on a ton of new makeup, definitely keep watching. We did find some hits, but definitely a few misses as well. So if you're interested in hanging out with me and trying out some new makeup, please keep watching and let's go ahead and get started. I cannot wait to try this stuff. I'm so excited. One of the first things I got was the Rare Beauty primer, and it's the Always an Optimist Illuminating primer. So I got the mini size, so it just comes in this cute baby little bottle. I really love the packaging of Rare Beauty. I don't know, it's very simplistic, kind of a minimalist vibe, and I really like that. So I got the mini size of the primer. I was gonna get the full size, but I think it was sold out when I went to buy it. So I figured the mini would be good anyway, since I don't even always use a primer, but I was curious about this one because it says it's glowy. So I'm gonna pump out a little bit of the primer. I'm just gonna do one pump. Kind of reminds me of the Becca backlight priming filter. The texture of it kind of reminds me of that one. Okay, it feels really good on the skin. I believe this says it's a gel primer. Yeah, a weightless universal gel primer enriched with ultra fine pearls for a lit from within glow, which I am all about. Okay, very, very lightweight feeling. Yeah, the finish also really reminds me of the Becca backlight priming filter. I like the feel of it. There's also, I don't really smell a fragrance either, which I love, because I definitely prefer makeup products that don't have a scent to them. So that was just a little bit, that was just one pump, but actually that looks really nice. I kind of like that. I would say it's a little less pearlescent looking than the Becca one, but it looks really nice. It feels really nice and no fragrance. So I'm excited to see how this does with the Rare Beauty foundation, which we are going to be trying out today. I am first going to go in with this. So this product is not new, but this is a new tube that I just got, so I figured I would go ahead and include it. It's the Urban Decay Naked Skin Color Corrector, and this one is the peach color. So I'm really wondering what's going on with this product, because online, for whatever reason, the Urban Decay color correctors are sold out everywhere. I cannot find it anywhere. And then I went into Sephora randomly and they had one of these in the peach color, but that was it. There was just one. So I hope this is not being discontinued, because this is one of my favorite color correctors ever. I've had multiple tubes of this stuff. I hadn't had it in a little while and I really wanted to get it, and I started trying to find it and it was sold out everywhere. Now I'm just going to blend that in with my Smashbox blurring concealer brush, like always. I kind of wanted to get the Rare Beauty concealer brush. I didn't end up getting it because I love this one so much and I really don't see myself using something else, to be honest, for under my eyes. But the shape of it looked to be a little bit similar to this. It's kind of more of a small dome shape, except the Rare Beauty one looked like it had a little bit of a slanted shape, whereas this one is just more of a dome shape. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more. I feel like I have a lot of darkness today. So I really like the way this primer looks, honestly. Feels really nice too. It's like totally dried down, but I still have a little bit of that glow. Really like it. Moving on, I did get the Rare Beauty Liquid Touch Weightless Foundation and the matching Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer. We're going to use these today, and I did end up getting the Rare Beauty Foundation brush also. I don't know, I just kind of threw this in my cart at the last second, and I don't know why. I just was in the mood to try a new foundation brush, I guess. So here is the Rare Beauty foundation brush. As you can see, it's slanted, kind of more of a dense brush, and it has a slanted, kind of pointy tip to it. It's a pretty good size, and it does feel pretty nice, so I'm very excited to try this. And let's do the foundation first. Usually I would do concealer, but I kind of feel like doing the foundation first. And honestly, when the Rare Beauty came out, I wasn't like overly excited about it. I don't know why. I like Selena Gomez. I just wasn't like over the moon excited about it. But I've had so many people ask me about it that I started to get more and more curious. And then of course, so many people here on YouTube have been trying it. So the curiosity just got the best of me. So here is the foundation. Again, I really love this packaging. I know that she made this to help people that have issues with gripping onto things and opening things, which I love. I think that's awesome. I just love how simple the packaging is. I think it's so pretty and really chic looking, kind of modern too. So I got the shade 180W, and I believe I got the same shade, yeah, in the concealer. Okay, so right off the bat, it's very liquidy. It's kind of, oh, it is messy. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see on the camera, but it's kind of seeping out the side, I guess because it's a really liquidy foundation, which I don't love that, but let's try this out. I'm just going to, ooh, it's very lightweight. Wow, this is super liquidy feeling. I'm going to use the Rare Beauty brush. So this is called the Liquid Touch Foundation Brush, a cruelty-free foundation brush packed with soft, silky bristles that build, blend, and buff. So let's try this out. Interesting. So for some reason I had this in my head that it was going to be like more of a dewy foundation, but actually, oh, when you blend it out, it's actually more of a soft matte finish, which is interesting. Okay, this brush is very nice. I really like the brush for sure. And the foundation is blending out very easily. I can definitely see now why they have an illuminating primer with this foundation, just because I feel like if you had a super mattifying primer underneath, unless you're like really oily, this foundation might be a little too matte. But it does look nice. I like the finish of it. Definitely not as dewy as I thought, but the primer does seem to add a little bit of a radiance to it, if you can see. I think it looks pretty. Definitely not a full coverage with that amount of product that I use. Definitely more of a medium-ish coverage, but it gives decent coverage, but definitely doesn't cover everything. So I'm gonna take just a tiny bit more of it. I can't get over how liquidy this is, and I'm gonna see if it builds up at all on my cheek area. That's really the only place where I would add any more. I'm gonna take the brush again and just try to kind of stipple this in instead of wiping. See how much coverage I can get from it. This color is actually a pretty good match for me. So let's try out the concealer. This is the Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer. I did get the same shade. I almost went down a shade, but I've seen several people say that even the corresponding concealer is lighter than the foundation. It's not the same color, so just looking at it in the bottle, I would definitely say that seems to be true. So this is the shade 180W. So the applicator of this is interesting. It's a doe foot, but it's like a kind of like a slanted, short little doe foot. I don't know, it's interesting. I feel like, okay, yeah, this is definitely lighter than the foundation. Okay. Wow, that's a good bit lighter than the foundation. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you want your concealer to match your foundation, I would say probably go up, not down, because this is the same shade and it's definitely lighter. Again, this texture feels very light and serumy, just like the foundation. I've heard a lot of people say this is not a concealer that gives a ton of coverage, so hopefully this is fine. I am going to use my sponge. I'm not going to use the foundation brush, and I did not get their sponge or the concealer brush, so I'm just going to use my sponge and lightly. This sponge is damp, by the way. So yeah, definitely not a full coverage concealer either, but it is giving a decent amount of coverage. It is, when you blend it out, it's not super, super light, but it is lighter than the foundation for sure. I wish it matched the foundation a little bit better, but it's not too bad. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more, lightly blend this in. So this is the Wet n Wild Beauty Sponge, and it is damp, just so you know. I really love this sponge for concealer. So there is the concealer. So again, the finish is nice, but it's definitely not as dewy as I was thinking it was going to be. Definitely not a full coverage. I think the concealer is actually even less coverage than the foundation. I would say it's a light to a very light medium coverage. So if you have severe darkness, you're definitely going to want to use a corrector underneath to get enough coverage from this concealer, because still on me, I use my naked skin underneath and I can still see some of my darkness peeking through, but that's okay. So I'm just going to take my sponge and lightly go over my whole face again. The more I look at this, I turned my camera off for a second so I could look up close at this foundation. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see on the camera, but there are some places on my face where this foundation is not laying well. Like it's just, it's probably not going to pick up on the camera, I'm guessing. But there are places where it looks like it's almost wanting to pill up. And I don't know if it's, like I noticed right here above my eyebrow, in some spots, it looks like the foundation is just kind of sitting there, like it won't blend in. It just kind of, the more you go over it with the brush, the more it just, I can see it moving around on my face. It's like it won't sit and just stay for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. But then there are other places where I don't notice it as much, like down on the bottom of my cheek here. I don't really notice that. But there are certain places like here by my mouth, if I look close, it's just kind of sitting there in some areas. And even here where I have this like indentation at my chin right here, it Foundation looks like it's just sitting in there. And even on my nose, like, I don't know, this is probably not going to be able to tell on the camera, but the pores here on my nose, the foundation looks like it's just kind of sitting there. I don't know. I feel like this might be one where it looks decent from a distance, but up close it doesn't look that great. But we'll see. I'm going to keep going. But yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about this so far. So I got the Ilia Nightlite Bronzing Powder. This is the shade Drawn In. And I wanted this for the longest time, but every time I went to order it, it was sold out on Sephora, and finally I found it when it was in stock and I was able to order it. So I am going to use this with this big, what is this? A Sephora Pro Stippling brush. I'm going to try it with this. I might change the brush, but I actually got this brush randomly at TJ Maxx. I found it there for like $5. Sometimes I use it and I really like it, and then other times I don't. It just kind of depends on what you're using it with. Like, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm going to use the Real Techniques blush brush and lightly bronze up my face. And this bronzer, you guys, if you like more of a matte bronzer, you would love this. This is a really, really pretty natural looking bronzer. I like it a lot. You can see why it was sold out for so long. So I'm just kind of warming up my face a little bit. I actually have a good many Ilia products that I've bought recently. I've really been interested in that brand, but I didn't have much from them other than their skin tint, the Super Serum Skin Tint. I have that and I love that. But I don't have a ton of stuff from them, so I was excited to try this bronzer out. I did get a Rare Beauty blush, which I'm kind of scared of this now because I've seen so many people apply these and they are so pigmented. And I got the shade Bliss, I believe. Yeah. So this is one of the matte blushes. This is not one of the dewy blushes. So this is the Soft Pinch Matte Liquid Blush in the shade Bliss. And it looks like it's just going to be a really light pink. So let's try this out. And I'm just going to use a tiny bit because everybody I've seen use these says that they are very pigmented. So I'm actually going to take some on the back of my hand, I think. Ooh, so that color is really pretty. I'm going to just take what is on and then I think I'm just going to take the foundation brush and kind of lightly blend it out. Okay, yeah, these are very pigmented. You guys saw how little I used. Like, I still have some on the back of my hand. So you definitely don't want to overdo it with these unless you like a really intense blush look. Okay, now that's pretty. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. So this is nice, but definitely don't overdo it because you get a lot of color payoff with these for sure. Now I'm going to take, this may be a bad idea, but I do want to use this. This is the Ciate London Extraordinary Translucent Powder. I got this recently in my glossy box that I did an unboxing for. They sent me the October glossy box, and this was one of the products, and I've never tried it, so I wanted to use it today. So I definitely don't want to overdo it with this, so I'm just going to take a little bit in the cap, take this large Sigma powder brush, and I'm just going to lightly set mainly the middle of my face. I definitely like the texture of this powder. because you guys know I'm not a huge powder person. And when I do use powder, I like to use ones that don't look like powder. And this I do not see on my face, so that's a good thing for me. So I'm excited about that too. Okay, and then one other thing I do want to use, I don't know how well this is going to work with this base, but I have to try it. So I got the Makeup by Mario Master Secret Glow, and I think this is just supposed to be a clear looking dewy highlighter. So I'm just gonna take a tiny little bit on my finger and just kind of tap. Ooh. Okay. Now that's actually kind of pretty. Okay. So this is definitely gonna be one of those things you don't want to overdo either, because it is very shiny looking. Just gonna take what's left and bring it on my nose, a cupid's bow, and my chin. Okay, so that highlight actually looks really pretty. It just makes your skin look like juicy. Ooh, yeah, I like that. I will definitely continue to use that. I feel like that would be a really good product for like a no makeup kind of look. I just slightly filled in my brows with my Benefit Precisely My Brow, and now I want to use this Ilia Brow Gel. I haven't seen hardly anyone talk about this except Alexa Blake here on YouTube. I know she uses this and likes it, and I recently ran out of my Glossier Boy Brow, so I kind of wanted to try something else. I got this one in the shade Medium Brown. So it's just a small little white tube. Oh, it's kind of a fat little wand. Interesting. Hopefully this color is okay. I always kind of have trouble picking new colors with brow products just because I feel like if you get that wrong, that can really change the way your makeup looks if your brow color is wrong. Ooh. Ooh, now I actually like the shape of this, actually. So the shape, this side kind of has longer shaped bristles. So when you brush up, it's like you kind of are, you can see your brow hairs like actually fluffing up. So I can definitely see why it's called a volumizing gel. And that color looks pretty good for me. I feel like this would be a really good gel also for if you did not fill in your brows at all and you just kind of want to perk them up a little bit. I bet this would be really good for just doing that. For the eyes, so I did get the Makeup by Mario matte eyeshadow palette, the Master Mattes. I'm sure y'all have seen this all over YouTube, and for good reason, because this, to me, the matte palette spoke to me the most by far. I just think these colors, if you are a neutral eyeshadow person, I feel like you just can't go wrong with these colors. I mean, this is a beautiful palette. So beautiful. I'm really excited to use this. I was excited about this because I feel like you don't see that many palettes that are all matte. I feel like now most of the eyeshadow palettes you see coming out do have a few shimmer shades in them. You just don't see all matte that often. But I feel like this is just a really great staple eyeshadow palette to have in your collection. So I'm first gonna take matte number 1, which is this really light creamy shade, and I'm just gonna put this basically all over the eye, all the way up to the brow bone. I will also say I really love the size of this palette. I feel like it's not too big, but it's not super small. It's just like a really good kind of in the middle size. I really like that. It's easy to hold in your hand. Next, I'm going to go in with this, let's see, this shade right here. I believe it's matte number 3. Kind of looks like the first shade, but a little bit darker, a little bit more of a peachy undertone. And I'm just gonna very lightly go in the crease with this color. This shade on me is very light. It gives just a very, very, very subtle definition, but not much. But you can see it. Now I really want to use this shade. I feel like this is going to be like a perfect transition shade, like a perfect crease shade. It looks not too yellow and not too pinky. It's a very pretty neutral brown. I believe it's matte number 4. So this one in the corner. And with this, I'm going to take another Morphe brush. This is the M505. It's a little bit smaller than the 504 I just used. And for this, I'm just gonna go right in the crease, and I'm kind of focusing it on this outer part where I can feel the crease of my eye. Ooh, so this is very, very, very pretty. This is a perfect neutral brown. Something I definitely do notice about these, and to me this is a good thing, this isn't a bad thing. I know some people have said, and I see what they mean now, these shadows are not, when you first go in, like intensely pigmented. They're not like Natasha Denona, like where you, as soon as you dip your brush in, you get a lot of color payoff. It's definitely not that kind of formula. It's a very subtle but buildable formula. And I think that's nice, especially for this kind of palette, because this is a good palette, I would say, for a beginner. You have all the neutral tones you would ever really need in this palette, and because it's not so intense right off the bat with pigment, I think that's just going to make it easier to work with. Because sometimes when you have a super pigmented eyeshadow, if you're not somebody that does eyeshadow a lot and you don't feel super confident in your blending abilities or your placement abilities, it can be kind of intimidating to go in with something that is very, very pigmented right off the bat. So I do like that about this. And they are blending beautifully so far. I think I'm gonna use this shade, which is matte number 8. It's right below the color we just used. It's a little bit warmer and darker than the shade we used before. And I'm just gonna take this on this. This is the BK Beauty 202 brush. I didn't get any of his shadow brushes. I kind of wanted to, but I have so many eyeshadow brushes that I love. I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't think I needed it. So I'm gonna take that matte number 8 and kind of pinpoint this right at this outer corner and kind of drag down to my lash line and then kind of fluff it up into the crease. Oh, that's nice. Oh my goodness, this shade. Matte number 8. Ugh. Wow, that just blended so easily. Wow. Oh, I love that color. I mean, that wasn't hard to blend at all. Oh my goodness. I'm using the very tip of this brush and I'm holding it really far out. and just kind of lightly feathering over the edges so it looks pretty diffused. But wow, that color is stunning. Okay, now I'm gonna mix, I think, matte number 7 and matte number 10, I believe. So one of them, they're both a little bit more of a reddish undertone, but they're browns. So I'm gonna mix just a little bit of both of those on a Morphe M506. So this is just a little baby blender brush, and it's really tiny. I'm just dipping a little bit into both of those, and then I'm going to tap off because I don't want it to get too dark, but I do want to use a little bit of those colors. So just going to pinpoint this right at the very edge of my lash line and kind of just go in a little circle, or in little circles like this. I need to stop before I go way overboard. Okay, now I am gonna take, let's see, the first brush that I used, and matte number 3, which was that light peachy shade, and we're just gonna blend and blend to make sure everything is nice and diffused. The last thing I did want to do is I'm gonna try to add just a little bit of the dark brown in here as liner, and I'm gonna use this brush. I've been obsessed with doing this lately. This is the BK Beauty 208 brush. It is the tiniest little angled brush, and it is so good for eyeliner, or if you want it to look like you have eyeliner on with an eyeshadow. So I'm gonna mix, I guess I'm gonna mix the brown and the black, so matte 11 and 12. And I'm gonna get a little bit of those on my brush. I am going to run this along the lash line. I'm not going all the way in, I'm stopping a little further than halfway. And then I'm going to try to make just a tiny little wing. Just a little baby one. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I literally just follow my bottom lash line and flick up. And that is as much of a wing as I want, and then I just kind of fill in like that. Because I don't like, on me, I like a small little wing. I don't like really dramatic wings. I just prefer something a little bit more subdued, but this, using a shadow instead of an actual liner, makes it a lot easier. And if you struggle, definitely you need this brush from BK Beauty. I've never had a brush that was so perfect for this. I love it. Okay, so let me see if I can replicate that on the other eye, which is always the hard part. I've also had a little too much coffee this morning, so I don't have the steadiest of hands right now, but oh well. So I'm gonna do the same thing, just draw my little wing. Look what I just did. Oh my god. Ah. Oh my gosh, great. Now I have to try to fix that, okay. See? Very bad if you've had too much coffee. You can't even hold your hand straight. Ah. I cannot believe I did that. Oh my gosh. Darn it. Now, how am I gonna go about getting that off without ruining everything? Okay, so this may be a very bad idea, but I'm gonna try to take a little bit of that Ciate powder on this smaller little powder brush, and it may just smear even worse. Okay, it's getting better. It's definitely helping. Just getting a tiny bit more powder every time. Now let me just, I kind of screwed up my wing on this side too. So there are the eyes. I did want to take a little bit on my bottom lash line as well. I'm going to take this brush. This is my BK Beauty 204 Smudge It brush. And let's see, what do I want to use? I'm going to go in with that really neutral brown. It's matte number 4. And I'm going to put that on my bottom lash line. I might take a little bit of the first shade we use, matte number 1. And I think I may pop this like right in the center of my lid, so I have a little bit of brightness there, just to brighten up the lid a little bit. And then I'll go in with my big brush again and just make sure that's nice and blended. So there is the eyes. So I'm very happy with the eyeshadow palette. This is definitely something I'm really excited to have in my collection. This won't be something that I buy and use it one time and just sit in my makeup collection. I really think I will use this. So I'm very happy with this and love the eyeshadow. So beautiful. I actually have a new mascara to try out. I've actually had this for quite a while. I just haven't used it yet. And it's the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Mascara. Honestly, I saw this and I've said this before, but if she puts the word Pillow Talk on it, I'm gonna buy it because I love Charlotte Tilbury and I fall for it every time. I can't help it. So here's the packaging. It's so pretty. It's a very large tube of mascara. The lid feels like, or it looks like her lipsticks. So that's really cute. I know this is supposed to have an interesting wand. I don't even know how you're supposed to use this, but I'm just gonna go for it. It's definitely a very thin formula, or it feels very thin. It's not clumpy feeling at all. This brush has, let's see, a lot of tiny little or not bristles, but little like notches on it. So I feel like you're getting every one of your eyelashes with this, which is good. Okay, so that definitely did push them up and makes them look very long, which I like. I'm gonna add a second coat and see what happens. So there is 2 coats of the mascara. So it definitely did push them up. I would definitely agree with that. It's not super volumizing, I don't think, but if you're somebody that likes more of a mascara to make your lashes look longer, you might like this. It is bringing up a good bit of product here on the rim when I pull the wand out, so it's kind of starting to get kind of goopy looking, but let's do this eye. Okay, so there is 2 coats of the mascara. It looks pretty. I don't think it's anything revolutionary, but I think it's a decent mascara. It definitely did lengthen them. Didn't give a ton of volume though, so depends on what you're looking for in mascara. Okay, and last but not least, we have lips. And I have 2 new lip products. I have this from Bare Minerals. It's the Under Over Lip Liner in the shade borderline. I got this because Daisy Cash here on YouTube, some of you may watch her already, used this in a video and she was saying how it was a fantastic nude lip liner, so I decided to try it. These Bare Minerals lip liners are really nice and I feel like no one talks about them. I feel like I hardly see anyone using these, but they're really nice. This would be pretty just all over your lips. And then like put a gloss on top or something. Really, really like this. And then I did get a lipstick from Ilia. I've been wanting this for a very long time and I finally just bit the bullet and bought it. So this is the Ilia Color Block Lipstick in the shade Amber Light. Alexa Blake here on YouTube always uses this color and says how much she loved it. And it's just a really pretty, I guess it's more of a rosy nude. So it's right up my alley. Oh yeah, it's a really pretty color. Oh, love that. So I'm gonna use this today. Ooh, okay. That color is really pretty with that lip liner. I'm gonna try to smudge it with my finger just a little bit. And then I did get, also because of Alexa Blake, I got one of the Ilia Balmy Gloss Tinted Lip Oils, and this is the shade Tahiti. She's used this in several of her videos and it looks so good on her. It's kind of similar to the Amber Light lipstick color. I did actually put this on my lips by itself the other day and oh, it was so pretty. Oh, look how pretty that combo is. I love it. These lip oils are so thin. They give your lips shine, but they're not sticky feeling, and they're very hydrating, but they're not thick. They're super, super thin, like almost a watery texture. So I love that. Okay, so this is the finished look. So this was a very interesting video. There are some things I really liked and some things I can tell you I'm just really not crazy about. So let's start with the foundation and the concealer. So as you saw, when I applied the foundation, I liked it initially. It blended in pretty well, but I'm gonna try to do a close-up here. I think that's as close as I can get you. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell, but the foundation, you can see it on my skin. So I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but it's just not the most flattering on the skin. I don't think you can definitely see it. And even when you really, really blend it in, it just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't blend in. It's like it just kind of moves around all over your face. So I don't know. It looks okay from a distance. I almost feel like this is one of those foundations that looks fine. If you don't look up close, it looks okay, but then when you really look at it, it doesn't look fantastic. And the same with the concealer. I do think I prefer the foundation over the concealer. The concealer is the same kind of formula. It doesn't give great coverage, and I do wish that it matched the foundation a little bit better. I'm really surprised that it was so much lighter in the same shade than the foundation. I know a lot of people like a lighter concealer, but I really bought it because I wanted it to be the same color or really close to the same color, and it's definitely not. The coverage is not great, so definitely not a huge fan of the foundation or the concealer. Now the primer, before I put the foundation on top, the primer felt really good, it looked really good, and I'm guessing that the issues I'm having with the foundation are not related to the primer, since the primer is from the same brand. I would assume that it's made to go with that foundation. So the primer I was kind of into. The blush I also really like. I will definitely continue to use this in the shade Bliss. Just got to be careful. It's very pigmented, but I did like that. So that was a thumbs up for me. The Ilia Bronzer, I had used that a few times and I love that. Super pretty. Love it for a neutral matte bronzer. I think it's really nice. The eyebrow gel, that I really, really love. I don't know if you can tell, but do you see the texture in my eyebrows? I mean, that looks so good. I love that. In terms of the eyeshadow palette, I think the eyeshadow palette is beautiful. If you love neutrals and you love mattes, I think this is a great palette for anybody, honestly. I think this is a great thing to have in your collection. I love the way the eyes turned out if I had not gotten black eyeshadow all over my cheek, but that's okay. That was my fault because I drank too much coffee. But I really love this. Super happy with this purchase. I think, like I said earlier, I think this would be good for a beginner. I think this would be good for, honestly, anybody. Anybody could find something or a shade in here that they would love that would work for them, in my opinion. Very happy with that. And I must say, I'm pretty intrigued by this Master Secret Glow for my cheek. I don't know if you can really see it, but it just gives you not even a highlighter look, but it gives you like a dewiness, like a juiciness to your skin. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully the camera is picking it up. I don't know. It's a very interesting product. I don't have anything like this. I kind of want to use it at some point on my eyelids, like for that glossy kind of eye look. I don't know. I might do that in a video, but very intrigued by this. The mascara from Charlotte Tilbury, I like it. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it looks decent on my eyes. I would say I do prefer her Legendary lashes over this one because it gives a little bit more volume. But this one is not bad, but not fantastic. The lip combo, I do love. I love all of it. The Ilia lipstick, so beautiful with the lip oil on top in Tahiti. Ugh, love it. And the Bare Minerals lip liner in the shade Freestyle. Love it. So beautiful. Love this lip combo. I think it's so, so nice. Overall, pretty happy with these things. Definitely a few misses with the Rare Beauty though. I don't know how I feel about those totally, but this was just a first impression, so I need to try them out a little bit more. One more thing I did want to mention is this powder. I actually really like this. I didn't put it all over my face as you saw, but it did work pretty well to get rid of that black shadow on my cheek, which is very interesting. And it looked pretty good in my T-zone where I applied it. So this I'm going to keep using, but I'm very intrigued by this product. So if you own this and you ever have too much coffee and get shadow on your cheek, try using that to get rid of it and see if it works. I was pretty impressed with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these products, and let me know your thoughts on Rare Beauty if you've tried anything. Like I said, I will leave updated thoughts in my description box, so definitely check that out. Make sure you are subscribed before you leave. I do post new videos every Wednesday and Friday. Also, make sure you're following me over on Instagram at the same username, simply.blair. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.